It feels like just yesterday you were young, full of energy, planning your future, perhaps raising a family or building a career. And then, almost without you noticing, the years piled up. Suddenly, you look in the mirror and see someone older, someone with more wisdom in their eyes, but also perhaps a little more weariness. Maybe you've noticed little aches and pains that weren't there before. Or perhaps the world just seems to move a bit faster than you do. Getting older is often portrayed in rosy terms: the golden years, retirement, grandkids, relaxation. But there are some realities, some uncomfortable truths about this stage of life that nobody really talks about. They're not easy to face, and they can sometimes catch you off guard. These aren't things you typically hear discussed at birthday parties or in glossy retirement brochures. They are the quiet challenges, the unspoken shifts that come with age. In this video, we're going to look at 5 of these harsh truths about getting older that no one really tells you. It might be uncomfortable, but understanding them, acknowledging them, is the first step to navigating them with grace and resilience. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. Let's dive right into the first truth. And it's one that often hits people unexpectedly, sometimes with a real pang of loneliness. It's the quiet shrinking of your social world. You spend decades building connections, friends from school, colleagues from work, fellow parents from your kids' activities, neighbors. Your address book used to be full, your calendar dotted with social engagements. But as you get older, things change. People move away, sometimes for retirement, sometimes to be closer to family. Friends get sick, their health declines, making it harder for them to get out and about. And, sadly, the most significant change is losing people. Losing friends you've known for years, sometimes decades, is a profound and heartbreaking part of getting older. Each loss leaves a gap, a silence where laughter or shared memories used to be. The truth is, the vibrant, bustling social life you might have taken for granted in your younger years doesn't automatically continue. It takes effort, conscious effort, to maintain connections and, crucially, to forge new ones. This is the part nobody likes to talk about: the potential for isolation. We live in a society that often focuses on youth and family, and as we age, if our primary focus has been on those circles, the transitions can leave us feeling adrift. Maybe your children are grown and busy with their own lives. Maybe your spouse is gone. The ready-made communities you were part of naturally dwindle. The harsh reality is that loneliness can become a very real challenge. Even if you have family around, it's the absence of peer connection, of shared history with people who understand what it was like to live through the same eras, listen to the same music, remember the same world events. Building new friendships in later life isn't the same as making friends on the playground or in the workplace. You don't have the automatic shared context. It requires vulnerability, putting yourself out there, joining groups, starting conversations. Even when it feels awkward or a little daunting, maybe you've considered joining a book club, or a walking group, or volunteering, but the thought feels like too much effort. Or perhaps you tried once and it didn't click, and you felt discouraged. This harsh truth is about recognizing that maintaining a rich social life is no longer passive. It's an active pursuit. It means being intentional about reaching out to the friends you still have, scheduling regular calls or visits, even when it's just for a cup of tea. It means being open to meeting new people, even if they seem different from your old friends. It might be joining a local community center class, participating in activities at your library, or connecting with people online through shared interests. It's about overcoming the inertia that can creep in with age and the tendency to stick to what's familiar. The truth is, the world keeps spinning, and new people are everywhere, also looking for connection. This isn't about replacing those you've lost. They are irreplaceable. It's about building a new tapestry of relationships that can enrich your life in different ways. It's about finding people who share your current interests, who are also navigating this stage of life, who can offer fresh perspectives and companionship. The harsh part is admitting that you might feel lonely sometimes, even often, and that simply wishing for company isn't enough. You have to actively seek it out, even when it feels hard. It means pushing past shyness, past the fear of rejection, past the comfort of staying home. It means understanding that social connection is as vital for your health and well-being as diet and exercise. And it requires the same kind of consistent effort. This is one of those truths that can feel a bit bleak, but acknowledging it is freeing. It gives you the power to do something about it, to be proactive in nurturing your social life, rather than just lamenting what's been lost. It's a challenge, yes, but it's also an opportunity to meet fascinating new people and discover new facets of yourself through those connections. Now, while our social world changes, so too does the way we are perceived. And that leads us to a slightly different, but equally challenging, truth that often goes unsaid. Moving on from the changing social landscape. The second harsh truth is about something deeply personal, something that most of us spend a lifetime being acutely aware of: our physical appearance. Now, I'm not just talking about a few gray hairs or a wrinkle or two. The truth is, your body will change in ways that can feel profoundly unsettling. And often, these changes are simply beyond your control. We live in a culture that puts immense value on youthfulness, vitality, and a certain aesthetic ideal. We're bombarded with images of eternal youth and products promising to reverse the clock. But the reality is, as we age, our bodies inevitably transform. Skin loses elasticity, becoming thinner and perhaps more fragile. Hair thins, changes texture, or disappears altogether in places we might not expect. Our posture might change, our height might slightly decrease, and our shape can shift, often accumulating weight in new areas or losing it unexpectedly. Muscles can atrophy if not actively worked, and joints might ache or stiffen. These aren't failures on your part. They are simply the natural processes of aging. However, living in a society that often seems to overlook or even dismiss older bodies can make these changes feel like something to hide or be ashamed of. The harsh part isn't just the physical change itself, but the internal struggle with accepting it and how it impacts your self-perception. You look in the mirror and sometimes feel like you don't recognize the person looking back. You might try to fight it, using creams, dyes, or even cosmetic procedures. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel your best. But the relentless pursuit of looking younger can become an exhausting and ultimately futile battle against time. The deeper challenge is learning to make peace with the changes, to find beauty and value in an older body. This isn't easy when the world around you celebrates the opposite. Maybe you used to love certain clothes that no longer fit or flatter you in the same way. Maybe you feel less confident going to the beach or the gym. The truth is, your body is changing, and it requires a shift in perspective. Not just wardrobe adjustments. It's about understanding that your worth is not tied to appearing eternally young. It's about appreciating your body for its resilience, for the decades it has carried you, for the experiences it has allowed you to have. It's about focusing on health and functionality over aesthetics. It's about finding joy in movement. Whatever that looks like for you now, whether it's a gentle walk, a swim, or chair exercises, rather than pushing your body to perform like it did 30 years ago. The unspoken truth here is that accepting the physical realities of aging requires a profound internal shift. It's a journey of self-compassion and challenging ingrained societal biases about age and beauty. It's about recognizing that the lines on your face tell a story, that your changing shape is a testament to a life lived. It's about giving yourself permission to look your age, to feel comfortable in your own skin, even if that skin isn't as smooth or firm as it once was. This is a harsh truth because it forces you to confront vanity, societal pressure, and your own internalized ageism. It asks you to redefine what it means to be beautiful or attractive or simply you as your physical form transforms. It's a continuous process of adjustment and acceptance, and some days are easier than others. But finding that place of peace, of appreciating your body for the amazing vehicle it is, regardless of its age, is incredibly liberating. It's about shifting your focus from how your body looks to what it allows you to do, to feel, to experience, and while we adapt to changes in our appearance. Another equally challenging truth emerges, related to what we can do and how we contribute, following on from the physical changes. The third harsh truth about getting older that often remains unspoken is related to your skills, your abilities, and your sense of purpose. For many, a significant part of their identity and self-worth has been tied to their work, their physical prowess, or specific talents they cultivated over the years. Maybe you were an expert in your field, known for your sharp mind and quick decisions. Maybe you were incredibly strong and capable, someone who could handle any physical task. Maybe you were a brilliant musician, an artist, a crafter with nimble fingers, or a fantastic athlete. The harsh truth is that as you age, some of these skills and abilities, particularly those that relied on speed, physical strength, or perhaps certain types of memory recall, may naturally diminish. It's not about becoming incapable, but about recognizing that things might take longer, require more effort, or simply not be possible in the same way they once were. This can be incredibly challenging to accept, especially if your identity was heavily invested in being the best at something, the fastest, the strongest, the most knowledgeable in a specific, rapidly changing field. The world of work, for example, moves incredibly fast. Technologies change, industries evolve, and the expertise you built over decades might suddenly feel less relevant. Physically demanding hobbies or tasks become harder, sometimes even risky. You might find yourself struggling with things that used to be second nature. This isn't about giving up, but the harshness lies in the confrontation with limitations you didn't have before. It can lead to feelings of frustration, inadequacy, or even a loss of identity. If you were the fixer in the family, and now certain repairs are too difficult, what does that mean if your professional career was your pride, and you're no longer in that environment? Where do you find your sense of contribution? This truth is about the necessity of redefining your value and finding new avenues for purpose and contribution. It means accepting that while some doors might close, others can open. It's about shifting your focus from what you were to who you are now and what you can still offer. This could involve rediscovering old hobbies you let slide, learning entirely new skills that pique your interest, volunteering your time and experience in a different capacity, or mentoring younger people. The harsh part is the grief process associated with losing some of those former capabilities. It's okay to mourn the loss of your younger strength or the sharp edge of a specific skill, but staying stuck in that mourning prevents you from exploring the vast possibilities that still exist. It's about recognizing that wisdom, experience, perspective, patience, and emotional intelligence often increase with age. And these are incredibly valuable assets that are often overlooked in a youth-obsessed culture. Your value isn't solely in doing the fastest physical labor or having the most cutting-edge technical knowledge. It's in the richness of your lived experience, your ability to connect with others on a deeper level, your capacity for empathy and understanding. This harsh truth challenges you to look beyond your former roles and accomplishments and discover the multifaceted person you are today. It's about finding new ways to feel useful, to contribute to your community, family, or just the world around you, in ways that align with your current abilities and energy levels. It's about understanding that retirement or slowing down from certain activities doesn't mean becoming irrelevant. It's a transition to a new phase of contribution, one that might be less about proving yourself and more about sharing your gifts and accumulated wisdom. Accepting this truth allows you to let go of outdated expectations and embrace the person you are becoming, finding new sources of satisfaction and pride. And as we navigate these personal changes, we also have to contend with how the wider world perceives us, which brings us to another difficult, often unspoken, reality. So we've talked about how our social circles change and how our physical selves and abilities transform. Now, the fourth harsh truth, and it's one that many people feel deeply but might be hesitant to voice, is that you might start to feel invisible or, worse, dismissed by younger generations. This isn't a comfortable topic, but it's a reality that many older adults face. In a fast-paced, youth-centric world that often values speed, innovation, and immediate results, the wisdom and experience that come with age can sometimes be overlooked or even devalued. You might find yourself in conversations where you're talked over, your opinions aren't sought, or your suggestions are gently, or not so gently, pushed aside in favor of newer, less tested ideas. You might enter a shop or a business and feel like you're not given the same attention or respect as younger customers. Family dynamics can shift too, where well-meaning adult children might start treating you more like a fragile dependent than a capable, independent adult. This sense of becoming less visible, less relevant in the eyes of others, can be incredibly disheartening and frustrating. It's as if your lifetime of learning, your years of navigating complex situations, your deep understanding of human nature, is somehow rendered obsolete simply because of your age. The harshness lies in the feeling that your voice carries less weight, that you are perceived through the lens of stereotypes about aging, that you're perhaps slow, resistant to change, or out of touch. It's the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, ageism that exists in society. This truth is difficult because it's not about a personal failing on your part. It's about systemic biases and cultural attitudes. You haven't changed as a person. Your intellect is likely still sharp. Your capacity for connection and contribution remains. But the way others perceive you might have shifted dramatically. Navigating this requires a certain resilience and a refusal to internalize these negative stereotypes. It means finding ways to assert your presence and voice respectfully. It might mean choosing to spend time in environments where your experience is valued, whether that's through volunteering, joining groups focused on shared interests, or connecting with people who appreciate the depth of your perspective. It also requires a degree of self-advocacy. If you feel you are being dismissed, it might mean finding polite but firm ways to make yourself heard. For instance, if a family discussion is happening and you feel overlooked, you might say, "Excuse me, I have a perspective on this that comes from my experience, and I'd like to share it." It's about refusing to become a passive recipient of ageist attitudes. This truth also highlights the importance of connecting with your peers. While intergenerational relationships are vital and enriching, spending time with people who are navigating similar challenges and who understand the unique perspective of being older can be incredibly validating and empowering. They see you, the whole person, not just the age. This harsh truth is a call to hold on to your sense of self-worth fiercely, independent of how the world outside might try to diminish it. It's about knowing your value, speaking your truth, and choosing environments and relationships where you are seen and respected for who you are. At every age, it's about challenging the invisibility by being authentically, vibrantly, and unapologetically you. And as we contend with how the world perceives us, there's one final truth that often looms large, affecting how we experience everything else. We've explored how our social worlds can contract, how our physical selves transform, how our skills might evolve, and how society's perception of us can shift. These are significant shifts, And they bring us to the fifth and perhaps most profound harsh truth about getting older that often catches people by surprise and can feel quite unsettling. Time starts to feel like it's moving at an alarming, accelerating pace. It feels like just yesterday you were celebrating a birthday that now seems decades in the past. Seasons blur into one another. Years flash by. And major life events that felt like milestones just a short while ago are suddenly receding into the distant past. This isn't just a feeling. There are psychological reasons why time subjectively speeds up as we age. Partly because novel experiences become less frequent and routine dominates. And partly because a year represents a smaller fraction of our total lived experience. When you're 10, a year is 10% of your life. When you're 70, it's just over 1%. That mathematical reality translates into a feeling of time racing away. The harshness of this truth lies in the sudden, acute awareness of your own mortality and the finite nature of the time you have left. It's not a comfortable thought, and it's something many people actively avoid contemplating. But as the years feel shorter, the urgency to do things, to experience things, to be with people you love, can become incredibly intense. It's the realization that the someday you planned for might be running out of road. This truth can manifest as a feeling of regret over things not done, words not said, or opportunities missed. It can create a sense of panic, a feeling of needing to rush to make up for lost time. Or, conversely, it can lead to a kind of paralysis, where the sheer weight of the realization makes it hard to do anything at all. The unspoken challenge here is learning to live with this heightened awareness of time in a way that is empowering, not terrifying. It's about recognizing that while the amount of time remaining is unknown, you have absolute agency over how you spend the time you have today, this week, this year. This truth forces a confrontation with priorities. What truly matters? What are you spending your precious, accelerating time on? Is it aligned with your values? Are you investing in relationships, experiences, and activities that bring you joy, meaning, and connection? Or are you still caught up in obligations, routines, or worries that no longer serve you? The harshness is in the necessary shedding of the trivial. Things that seemed important when you thought you had endless time suddenly lose their significance. Petty grievances, unnecessary worries, the pursuit of things that don't truly matter. These become glaringly apparent when time feels like a rapidly dwindling resource. This truth is a powerful catalyst for intentional living. It's an invitation, albeit a sometimes frightening one, to be fully present in each moment, to savor the simple pleasures, to express your love and appreciation for the people in your life, and to pursue experiences that truly nourish your soul. It's about making conscious choices about how you spend your days, recognizing that each one is precious. It's about not putting off joy, not delaying important conversations, and not waiting for the perfect moment to do something you've always dreamed of. The harsh truth of accelerating time isn't meant to be a source of dread, but rather a powerful call to wake up, to live fully, and to prioritize what genuinely matters. It's about embracing the urgency not with panic, but with purpose. So, we've walked through these 5 often unspoken realities of getting older, the shifting landscape of our social connections, the sometimes unsettling changes in our physical appearance, the evolution of our skills and sense of purpose, the challenging reality of feeling invisible or dismissed, and the profound acceleration of time itself. None of these are easy truths to face head-on. They challenge our expectations, our self-image, and our place in the world. But facing them, acknowledging them, is the first step towards navigating this stage of life not just with resilience, but with a sense of empowerment and possibility. Remember, getting older isn't a passive process. It's a dynamic phase of life filled with its own unique challenges and immense opportunities for growth, connection, and contribution. Small changes, small shifts in perspective and action can make a big difference in how you experience these years. It's about being proactive in nurturing your social life, cultivating self-compassion about physical changes, redefining your value beyond past roles, asserting your presence in the world, and making conscious choices about how you spend your precious time. Your experience is valuable. Your voice matters. And your capacity for joy and connection is still vast. Don't let the unspoken harsh truths become limiting beliefs. Instead, let them be catalysts for living more intentionally, more authentically, and more fully than ever before. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these truths. Have you experienced any of them? Are there other unspoken realities you've encountered? Sharing your experiences in the comments below not only helps me, but it can offer support and recognition to others who might be feeling the same way. Your wisdom is a gift. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more content aimed at helping you live your best life at every age. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. Remember, getting older is a privilege, and facing its realities allows us to live these years with greater honesty, grace, and fulfillment. Live your best life at every age,